The majority leader of the AP, Ahmed Lawal, and his counterpart in the House of Representatives, Femi Gbadabiamila, on Tuesday emerged the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, respectively. Both Lawal and Gbadabiamila are members of the ruling All Progressives Congress, the APC. Also, the senator representing Delta Central Senatorial District, Ovie Omoagege, was elected the Deputy Senate President. Thus, this in effect placed the ruling APC in pole position to pass legislation quickly. Will it be a smooth relationship between the executive and legislature? Looking ahead, data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channels web. You can follow us right now on m.channelstv.com and on Facebook as well. We've got all our platforms on social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation and let's get your thoughts in. President Muhammad Buhari has said that his government can lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years. In his opening speech during the inaugural June 12 Democracy Day celebration in Abuja on Wednesday, President Buhari said that despite the positive growth in the economy, his administration is mapping out policies to ensure that the country's GDP grows by 2.7% in 2019 and lift the bulk of our people out of poverty and into the road of prosperity. What does this mean to the Nigerian people? Can the structures in place support what's some term an ambitious submission by Mr. President? We'll analyze both the President's speech and the 9th Assembly in just a moment. It's prime time here in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. A former Minister of Education, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, on Wednesday said that there was need for deepening of the country's democracy to serve as a catalyst for progress. She was speaking at the lecture on June 12 at the home of the late MKO Abiola in Ikeja, here in Lagos. Also, Senator Shehu Hussaini reiterated and saying that the country must embrace restructuring to move in the direction of sustainable development. Now, what does the country truly need? Getso is a politician and a running mate of the presidential candidate Kingsley Moghalu under the Young Progressives Party. The YPP in the 2019 presidential elections just concluded. I want to thank you for joining us from our Abuja studios. Last time you were on this show, I did ask you if you will take up an appointment in the new government of President Muhammad Buhari, which you declined. But how have you been since then, having heard the June 12 Democracy Day speech of Mr. President Muhammad Buhari? What positives are there in his speech for you?
Good evening. Happy Democracy Day to Nigerians. Well, I was here, as you said, about the appointment. I just say you two maybe try to just crack a joke. But about the Democracy Day of President Muhammad Buhari, I'm very sure a lot of us, or all Nigerians, thought the president will talk or include more things because there are a lot of strategic issues that are worrying this country, which the president did not as in directly address. But what he said is like the government, if we compare with their previous performance of the 4 years, it's like they have chewed more than, or trying to chew more than, or they gave us the promises of more than what I think they can give us. But all the same, we're just praying they will deliver. We've heard all what the president said. He said a lot, given us a lot of promises that they are going to perform better than what they did before. So we're praying, because this is a new regime, we're supposed to give them a kind of chance. This is another 4-year journey. We pray and we hope they will have the strength and they will have the willingness to do more than what they did in the previous administration.
Okay, let me pick you on some of the very critical statements that were made. This one is from Senator Shehu Hussaini, and he says that I urge Nigerians to continue to appreciate the sacrifice made by MKO Abiola, the presumed winner of the elections, saying that without June 12, there can't be May 29th. So the two now stand, May 29th being an inauguration day every election year, of course. Is there a sense in that, in your view, that we have May 29th and June 12 very close together to celebrate something significant in this country?
What Kemke Abiola is a person that all Nigerians are supposed to celebrate, because he contributed a lot to the democracy of Nigeria. And if we look at his reputation, he is the kind of person we're all looking up to. We're looking to be politicians like him. So 2012 is a day to remember if we look back at history. But in my own personal opinion, having the days as in not fully defined. We have this previous 29 May as the Democracy Day, then jumping to as in celebrating it in few days, having all these unnecessary, let me say, breaks or holidays. Let's just, if we're moving to June 12, if I may say, we're not supposed to celebrate May 29. If at all the president have already decided that it should be June 12, we should consider June 12 and honor MK Abiola and honor democracy.
Do you celebrate President Muhammadu Buhari's declaration of June 12 as Democracy Day?
Pardon?
Do you celebrate the President's declaration of June 12 as Democracy Day?
Yeah, I do, because it's a very good one. It's a good way forward for this country, because if at all we're celebrating good people, people that contributed to the democracy of this country, people that are worth celebrating, they should be celebrated. And June 12 is a kind of, okay, since we are moving from another phase to another phase, yeah, it's a very good one that Nigerians are able to identify people like MK Abiola and what they did to this country. To me, I celebrated June 12, of course, it's a good one.
Now, Senator Sani also, in his submissions on Wednesday, he urged Nigerians to appreciate the courage of the president for declaring, as you have also supported. But going further and looking at some of the things that the president said in his statement, in his speech, he said that they can get 100 million people out of poverty within the next 10 years. Do you see this as a possibility, considering the structures on ground and possibly building on them?
As I earlier said, we are hoping they would perform better than what they did. So I think they deserve, I may say we don't have any reason to start criticizing them now, as he gave us more promise than what he gave us before. So for now, we just have to wish them well, or wish him well, and pray they will do better than what they did before. But as in with the strategy officer, we're going to compare with their previous performance of 4 years. I don't think the figure they painted and bringing people out of poverty, as we had the CBN governor saying that we are even going back to recession on present probabilities, that we're going back to recession. And as in the way we are seeing, even not even changing the CBN governor, he's still there, the service chiefs are still there, and we've never seen a government that has carried all the ministers and everybody for good 4 years, no cabinet reshufflement. So I don't know how they are going to do it, but we pray, may God help them to deliver what they promise. But to me, it's a very, very hard one.
Now, in the midst of your prayers, I mean, these are the submissions by some very prominent Nigerians, including Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, who says that deepening democracy is a must for us to be able to get to that next level being promised by the APC government. But how do we start the process of deepening democracy, if I would ask you?
Well, the process are very, very visible, because if you look at Nigeria, there is nothing that's not in place. It's just the implementation and following the proper processes and working with the right people. If at all this present administration will pick the right people to work with and point out the major problems, or point out the necessary things and face them, calling a spade by its name, we wish them well. We'll see what they are good. We hope they will perform better.
Could you tell us, because you are a stakeholder also in this Nigerian state. As a matter of fact, your party has produced one senator who is sitting now. What must be done, in your view, to be able to achieve that kind of level of development such that Nigerians begin to feel safer, begin to feel more encouraged, even by Mr. President's submission and his speech?
The first thing Nigeria has now, the main thing we have at hand now, is facing the security challenges. Because if we do not fix the security challenges, definitely there will be no investors, there will be no business. If you look at the northern part of the country, things are dying gradually. Because whenever a country is not secured, nothing is going to take place. Number two, there are some sectors, basic sectors like the health sectors, that the president, the education that the president need to really work on. If at all the previous administration have like make an impact to these sectors, we'll definitely pray that there will be a kind of improvement. And there is one major thing, according to what she was saying, is about the restructuring. Restructuring this country is very, very important, because if at all this country is being restructured, this issue of this insecurities and whatsoever, I don't think will be in place. Because if each and every region is responsible for what they think they govern, or they are responsible for their own jurisdiction, Nigeria will not be run the way it is now.
Let me get your views on this. I should probably get you to speak on this. This is a statement by the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Kola Olobodinyo. He said that the 9th National Assembly must work hard to save our nation from the prevailing despondency caused by the misrule of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration by effectively applying its statutory legislative instruments to guarantee good governance and fiscal prudence, curb corruption, check the excesses of the executive, and protect the rights of Nigerians from incessant violations. Would you say, in all sincerity, that this is a fair statement coming from the PDP, considering the gains already achieved by the APC administration in the past 4 years?
I will not kind of fall for all the statements being made by PDP, because they've been in power, we've seen what they did, and it's like a kind of reputation of what PDP is doing that APC is doing wrong. So I don't want to even like talk from the view of the PDP. But if we look at what happened 2 days or 1 day ago in the Senate, when a senator moved a motion on the president's Democracy Day speech, and it was immediately killed by the Senate President. This is a sign that Nigerians need to look into, because if at all the speech is being brought and the Senate were able to like look at it, process it, and look at it, categorize everything and look at it, maybe we may have as in something to hold on to. But it's like the bill is immediately killed, nothing is being discussed. It's about what PDP is talking about. It's just like they're only talking because they are just not in power. But had it been, whenever such relevant things are being raised, they will be tackled, definitely there will be a kind of way forward, or we'll have a direction to follow in this country.
Let's talk a little bit further about the 9th Assembly. This is pretty much going to be a smooth sail in getting bills passed and a healthy relationship between the executive and legislature. Don't you think that is going to be the case now that we have the presidency, it's APC, you also have the leadership of the National Assembly as APC members? This should be a smooth sail for the president, shouldn't it?
Well, I think this is the initial thing, and this is what they've all wanted, having it all within them. Because if you compare what happened between the past Senate president and the presidency, because I think the past Senate president did all he could to stand as an opposition, to see that he put a full stop to things that are not supposed to happen, or to stop things from taking place. But now, with the example of what happened within the 24 hours by the Senate President just killing a kind of motion at the spot, it's a good sign. It's a good sign to Nigerians to understand that it's only going to be 100% APC interest in this government.
I must thank you so much
Definitely
indeed for talking to us,
personal interest must be protected.
Brilliant. Getso, running mate to Kingsley Mogalo of the YPP in the just concluded 2019 general presidential elections. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us.